Hello and welcome to Lesson 2 in our series on 3D for AccuMark version 10. In this lesson, we will cover how the model editor in AccuMark Explorer is utilized as part of the 3D project. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand the layout of the 3D tab in Model Editor, define the 3D garment information, assign fabrics using the fabric table, and make edits to piece information. In order to visualize garments in 3D, information must first be provided about the model, pieces, and fabric. A new tab in Model Editor called 3D Garment Info has been added to assign properties to the model, including garment and fabric information, as well as any additional piece properties necessary to wrap the pattern around the 3D avatar. Once the first page of the model is defined, the piece names, fabric types, and piece counts are automatically copied into the 3D Garment Info page. There are three main areas of the 3D Garment Info page, which we will cover in detail in this lesson: garment, fabric, and piece information. The first section of the 3D model page is the garment section, which consists of the following components. The garment category field lists different categories of garments, and this list is user-definable by way of a text file accessed using the field lookup button. The garment position field specifies the location of the garment with regard to the body or avatar. Garment draped position specifies the 3D position of the garment relative to other garments on the avatar. The avatar field specifies which avatar file should be utilized when the model is displayed in 3D. Avatar files are an OBJ format. The comments field can be used for additional descriptive information and is optional. Finally, a sketch can also be included with the model if so desired. Now, click the button at the bottom of your screen to see a demonstration. The information in the garment section identifies the general placement of the garment in relation to a specific avatar. Additional information such as garment category, comments, and sketches can be added to enhance the production workflow. We begin by accessing a model in the storage area. Once the model editor has been opened, you can see at the bottom left of the window a new tab called 3D Garment Info. It is important to fill out the first page of Model Editor before you proceed to the 3D Garment Info page, as much of the information, such as fabric types and piece information, is automatically placed into the 3D Info tab. In the upper left-hand section is where garment information can be accessed. First, the garment category field lists different categories of garments. The list is user-definable and is defined in a text file accessed using the field lookup button. Various default values are included, such as dress, shirt, undershirt, and coat. In this example, we will click the lookup button, which leads us to the default path on the C drive: C:\program data /Gerber technology /silhouette 2000 /fabrics. After selecting the file, the information will appear in the drop-down for you to select. In this case, we have selected undershirt. The garment position field specifies the location of the garment with regard to the body or avatar. This value helps pre-position pieces in the 3D work area. These values include whole body for such garments as dresses, jumpsuits, and swimsuits, upper body for shirts, bras, jackets, and coats, lower body for skirts, pants, and panties, head for hats, feet for shoes, and neck for scarves or shawls. The garment draped position specifies the 3D position of the garment relative to any other garments on the avatar. For example, closest to the body could refer to undergarments, while outerwear would include sweaters and vests, and overwear would designate a jacket or coat. In this example of a basic tank top, we will choose closest to body. The avatar field specifies which avatar file should be used when the model is displayed in 3D. The default location for these, accessed through the lookup button, is the C drive: program data /Gerber technology /silhouette 2000 avatars. There are 5 avatars available with AccuMark 3D. These base avatars cover youth to adult age ranges and male and female forms. The avatar plays a vital role in simulation as the garment is fitted around these forms, so it is important to select the right avatar for any given model. The comments field is useful for any descriptive information you may want to add and is an optional field. Similarly, another optional area is the sketch field where an image file can be uploaded. In this example, we have already uploaded an image file of what the final result in 3D should look like for the tank top. When the first page of the model is defined, fabric types are copied into the fabric section of the 3D garment info page. There are 2 options for specifying fabric information: fabric table and PLM tech pack. If fabric table is selected, all of the fabrics along with their properties are specified in a CSV file. If PLM tech pack is selected, the fabric information is retrieved from the unique PLM database. In this course, we will focus on using a fabric table for populating this information. The fabric table will contain details about the fabric, such as the name, image name, location, and dimensions. Click the button at the bottom of your screen to see a demonstration. Fabric information in the model editor is located in the upper right-hand corner. There are 2 options for defining fabrics for the 3D garment. The first default position is the fabric table, which is defined by a CSV file accessed with a lookup button. Alternately, PLM material lookup could be selected by clicking on the appropriate radio dial and entering unique PLM login credentials. As previously stated, we will focus on the use of a default fabric table. The fabric table will contain details about the fabric that will allow the 3D program to populate pertinent data for the specified materials. In this example, we will select the fabric table and then click on the lookup button to access the necessary CSV file. The default location for the data is in Drive C under Program Data, Gerber Technology, Silhouette 2000, Fabrics. A list of different fabric tables will be shown. We then choose the necessary fabric table and click the Open button to continue. Once the correct file is chosen, we can look below to see the fabrics for the given model. In this case, there is only one fabric, Self. The next step is to utilize the drop-down under Name to define the fabric for use in this 3D garment. After this information is saved with the model and the model is opened in PDS, the pieces will display with the fabric texture fills in the PDS work area. Make sure that the fill pieces and fabric trim view options are set to on in pattern design in order to see the fabric images. We will take a moment now to look at the fabric table itself. This is a CSV file containing data that relates to image files in the same folder. It also contains information that affects the 3D virtualization of the garment, so it is important that the table is set up correctly and that you choose the appropriate fabric files for a given model. The fabric table will contain details about the fabric, including the fabric name and type, image name, location, and image dimensions. The table can also contain other pertinent information such as creation date, fiber content, and other material data like thickness and weight, as well as informational data that will relate to how the fabric will behave in the 3D environment. Now click the button at the bottom of your screen to continue the lesson. As before, when the first page of the model is defined, the piece names, fabric types, and piece counts are copied to the piece information section of the 3D garment page. The piece information contains information that is required to assemble a garment in 3D, including as input, piece position, piece orientation, body position, drape type, fabric layer position, and fabric overlap type. Click the button at the bottom of your screen to see a demonstration. As we continue working in the 3D garment info page for this model, we can see that once the model has been saved on the first page, information for the pieces is transferred here, including piece category, fabric, and flips. The first category, as input, specifies whether the original piece prior to model specified flips represents the left or right side of a garment. The next column, piece position, relates to the location of the pattern piece with regard to the body or avatar, such as front, back, top, side, or bottom. Piece orientation is the location of the as input piece. The choices for this include none, centered, left and right, left only, and right only. In this example, the as input piece is marked as left, but the piece is mirrored and will be centered on the avatar. Body position, the next column, is based on two reference locations, garment position and piece position. These options will vary depending on your selection for garment position. In this example, we will choose chest from the given drop-down options. Wrap type will specify how the piece should be pre-shaped in the 3D view prior to draping. The default value is none, but there are also options for flat and cylinder. Cylinder should be used for sleeves or any other piece type that wraps around the body like a tube. Fabric layer position determines how the pieces should be layered relative to one another within a garment. A number is specified, and the lower the number, the closer the pattern piece is to the body. For example, the front piece of a shirt would be a 0, while a patch pocket for that shirt would be a 1. Fabric overlap type specifies how one piece lays on top of its flipped pair or to itself, including options for left over right, right over left, top over bottom, bottom over top, or none. And now it's your turn to practice working with the model editor to prepare a garment for 3D. Click the button at the bottom of your screen to begin the simulation. Begin by clicking on the storage area named AMV10-Courses. Locate and right-click on the model named 100-Tank. From the options displayed, choose Model Editor. In the Model Editor window, click on the 3D Garment Info tab. Within the 3D tab, start by clicking on the lookup button next to Garment Category, which will allow us to ensure that the correct text file is chosen for this option. The path will default to the location shown in the C drive. In this default folder, select the file categories.txt. Next, click the Open button. With the correct text file designated, click the drop-down menu button next to Garment Category. From the options presented, choose Undershirt. Now, click on the drop-down menu for Garment Position. From the available options, make the appropriate choice for this tank top. Now click the drop-down menu for Garment Draped Position. For this instance, choose Closest to Body. Now click the Lookup button next to the Avatar field. The options shown in this default location will include the 5 basic avatars. Choose the avatar named Jill for this example. Once an avatar is selected, click the Open button. The comments area is optional, but for this example we will leave a comment. Click into the comments text entry box to continue. Now type black tank with pink trim and then hit the Enter key to continue. The sketch field is also optional, but for the purposes of this simulation, we will walk through the steps necessary to add a sketch. Click the Lookup button for sketches. From the options presented, choose the JPEG file marked black tank and then click the Open button to continue. Next, we will move on to the fabric section. To begin, click the Lookup button next to the fabric table option. From the available options located in the default folder, choose the file named fabrictable_us.csv and then click Open to continue. With the correct fabric table selected, click into the field next to the fabric marked Self in the column for Name. The drop-down menu will populate from the selected fabric table. In this example, choose the fabric black tank top. With the fabric selected, we can move on to the piece options. As previously mentioned, the grayed out areas will be populated from the first page of the model editor. For this garment, we can leave the As Input selections at default and click into the space under Position for the back piece. Select the appropriate option for the back piece. Next, click into the space under Position for the front piece and then choose the appropriate piece position from the drop-down menu. We now move on to Orientation, where you will start by clicking into the space in that column for the back piece. From the options provided, choose Centered. Now click the bottom right corner of the box for orientation. Much like an Excel spreadsheet, these fields can be copied by dragging from the bottom right corner and moving across any fields that require copying. Moving on to body position, click into the space under the appropriate column header. For the back piece, select Chest from the drop-down list options. Now repeat the process for the front piece. Now click into the space under Wrap Type for the back piece and then choose Flat from the given options. Once again, click the bottom right corner to drag and copy this cell. In this example, fabric layer position and overlap type will remain in their default values, so there is no need to make any changes for those piece information sections. When you are ready to move on, always be sure to save your progress by clicking the disk icon in the menu at the top of the window. Congratulations! You have completed the first steps in the 3D Garment virtualization process, working with the model editor. Click the button at the bottom of your screen to finish the simulation. We hope you have enjoyed this lesson.